Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started this week, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you check out our Couple Cam review. Also, if you like reading books or like listening to books, make sure you check out our Audible link in the description.
And now, for episode...
Number 5.
5.
Episode 5. So we get started in episode 5. The couples wake up on their first night of the honeymoon. Mm-hmm. They wake up. They're waking up in paradise in Mexico, and down in Mexico, and we see Bennett and Amelia.
Yes.
They wake up, and we see Bennett in his nightgown again. He wakes up in a nightgown, but their room is outside of a patio, or well, they're right outside of the water. Mm-hmm. And they first thing they want to do, they get up, they talk, ask about how they sleep and all that. And
Bennett ordered breakfast.
Yes.
He didn't know specifically what she wanted, but he ordered her some breakfast. Thought he would try. Hopefully, she liked something on there.
Being romantic, but she already told him her favorite breakfast was avocado and toast. Avocado and toast, but nah. He tried breakfast. They ate breakfast. They had a conversation. They talked. And then they decided to go swimming. He decided to jump in the water. And they went swimming.
Wait, no. Before that, listen, you cannot bypass this.
Oh, sorry.
So, they had a conversation about how do you feel about, us, being matched up. And so, Amelia says, I feel lucky that I got matched with you. I'm having a great time. Yes. And so, Bennett says, I feel good too. I'm all YOLO.
Forgot about that. Yes.
I'm all YOLO. You only love once, so I'm in it head first.
And Amelia was like, "That's not what that means. That means you only live once." He was like, "What?"
Look, he was like
he really didn't.
Pause. No, not like he really didn't.
He didn't know.
He said, "I didn't know. I thought it was you only love once." I thought that was a beautiful way to frame it, is what he said. He said, so I'm still going to take it as you only love once.
And Amelia just being an Amelia fashion said, well, it is an acronym, so you can make it whatever you want to make it. And so they decided to make the acronym YOLO, you only love once, and which is cute for them because they're watching Unfiltered, and if you watch that, Pastor Cal said he didn't want to match them two together. He said he didn't want to match them two together because he thought they was too much alike and too quirky, but it was Dr. Pepper who gave them, look, we need to do this. Yeah. And he says now, as he see things begin to play out at the first couple of episodes, he's kind of happy that he did listen to Dr. Pepper and put these two together. So I thought that was interesting watching Unfiltered to hear him say that, because, as us watching it, we think, that's an obvious choice. These two need to be together. And
I feel like they don't always go for the obvious, and probably that's why Pastor Cal didn't want to do it. They didn't want to go for the obvious. They want to match, complement each other, not the exact same person. Let's put the same person together.
Yeah, let's put the same people together.
Which they kind of did with them. But anyway, so he jumps into the water, right?
Yeah,
right outside the bedroom.
He's swimming, he's chilling, and then we see as he's swimming and he's chilling, and they switch over to Amani and Woody, and they just being so playful. Amani and Woody being playful, like, how did you sleep? Slept all right. They talked about their first night together. She's feeling comfortable with Woody. Woody feeling comfortable with her. They're having a great time. You can still see the energy even as they woke up in the morning. Dog, we had a great time. No, they didn't consummate their marriage.
No,
but they had a great time enjoying one another, and I like them too. I think they are. We're talking about people who match together well. I think they match together well, and everybody, when all the couples met up, you could see that they know that Woody and Amani are matched well together. Right. Because everybody saw, it's like a comparison. We're not Woody and Amani. We're not Woody and Amani.
And then we're not even that many days in for them to be saying we're not them. It's crazy.
It's 3 days in, so it was good to see them, how they interacted. It was even good to see when Miles and Karen woke up from there that they were spending time, that she didn't have the bedroom for it.
Right.
He woke her up like Taylor woke up Brandon last season with the camera in her face, and at least Karen didn't have no emotional breakdown or it didn't even flip out like Brandon did. But it was good that she was playful too. That she's starting. You can still see in this episode her walls are starting to slowly but surely come down. And they had breakfast as well, and they talked about some relationship stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever lived with a partner before?
Yeah.
And Miles said he's lived with a female roommate, but it wasn't his partner.
Yeah.
So neither one of them have lived with anybody before, and so Karen said that was her concern about living with somebody, because sometimes I like to have my own space, and what do I do when I want to have some me time, and not be rude by saying it? Do we put a sock on the door? Do we put a sign up? Do we have an assigned quiet room?
I thought that was so weird, man. I was like, y'all living together, you married, I know you want quiet time, and you just go to another room. You don't have to put a sock on the door like, this is my place. We don't know where they move into or what apartment, but you don't have to put a sock on the door. Just go get your quiet time. I'm chilling right now. Or communicate. You know what? Give me about 15, 20 minutes. Give me about 30 minutes. Let me spend some time together. Let me spend time with myself. Let me relax. A sock on the door, that's what you do in college when you got a roommate and he's trying to smash.
Right.
That's not what you do with your husband or your mate. That's some college type stuff.
Well, then I think the other thing is with them being married at first sight. Like I can, it's different with somebody you've known, because when that other person needs some time. But still, also as newlyweds, most of the time you want to be around each other all the time. So that's why I thought that was kind of odd that she would say, when I want some space to myself. Y'all only have 8 weeks. You ought to be spending all your time getting to know the person. Not that you don't have your own time, but your own time should be kind of minimal, because you're trying to get used to this person and deal with this person. Have your own time at work.
Nah, you gotta have your own time space within the home. I mean, even us, we still have our own time sometimes. You do your stuff and I do my stuff, and then we come together and do stuff together. Right? Or you want to be around me all day?
No, that's not what my look is for, because I think you have, we can't talk about that now. You have more time to yourself than I do.
Nature.
Kids bother me more so.
Nature of my job. Anyway.
No, I'm talking about in the house.
Oh.
But anyway.
Anyway, we digress.
For another time.
We have one kid that bothers me all the time.
For another time. You don't really have a whole lot of me time when you have kids. Not even in the bathroom. But anyway, that's me. Anyway. Next up,
we had Brett and Olivia.
Okay.
They woke up and they were having. I like Brett and Olivia because they have conversation. Mm-hmm. They talk about a lot of different things, and this is what they talked about. Families, how did you grow up? How did you play as a kid? Playing in a neighborhood with kids. They talked about politics. They talked about what life is like. We find out later, they even talked about, are we going to be private about our sex life or not private about our sex life? So the Brett that we saw in the first episode is really not the same one now, because he's had a lot of conversations with her. He's trying to open up now. Does he have his own particular ways? I do say yes, he does have his own particular ways, which we find out a little bit later. He's particular about some things, not Iris particular, but he's particular about some things that he likes to do and the way he does things. And I think that will be a rub with him, because the way he likes to do things and the way he does things is not the way that Olivia does things, and he has to adjust to that. And I think when they get back to I don't want to say real life, but when they get off the honeymoon, I think that will maybe an issue, because the way that she likes it, she's kind of like a free spirit. She tries things. He's kind of like, I don't want to say regimented, but he got his things kind of, this is what I do.
Yeah, and I told you last night, I'm kind of leery because we haven't seen the Brett from the beginning yet. And I feel like he's going to come out at an inopportune time. And I'm liking their vibe. They're getting along. Like you said, they're having a whole lot of conversation. Like to me, I think they're the most, Amani and Woody too. But they are talking about everything.
Yeah.
She's trying to find out everything about him and letting him know everything about her.
He's giving a little too much, because we had a conversation about what they talked about on the show, like, what your serious date relationship was the last time you went on a date.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was with somebody prior to the show. He was with somebody that went on 2 dates, and it would have been a third one if he hadn't got matched.
Yeah.
And we had a major discussion about that, like, why was he still looking? I'm like, because he wasn't matched yet. And he could go on a date. Once he got matched, I give him much credit. He stopped dating that lady. Or whoever it was.
But I just felt like just the getting matched shouldn't have been your measure. You know what I mean? My this one I'm gonna stop. I feel like if you're saying I want to try this married at first sight thing, then try the married at first sight thing. And once that doesn't come through, like that's like your date. That's like I'm trying this dating thing. If they didn't match him, then. But because our discussion was, we don't know how long it went between the auditioning process and them getting matched. We don't know when he first started dating this girl. Did they have a few dates before and then one during the matching process? I don't know. I think, and that's the thing. I was like, he says it would have been a third date. I saw potential in her, but I got matched. So I'm just like, in the back of your mind, is she still back there? Like, if this don't work out, I know I could always holler at Shorty, you know, because she was feeling me, I was feeling her.
But Shorty might have moved on. I mean,
she might have, but I don't know. I just felt some type of way about that. We went back and forth. You and I went back and forth in our conversation about should he have told her that? And my thing was not so much should he have told her, but like, should he have done that?
Yeah, because he was honest and he's leading up to it. You don't want to put your life on hold if you don't get matched. So if you did, he was still dating until he got matched, and I give him credit, he stopped. You know, because also you gotta look at, he said he was a serial dater, and he was a serial dater because of the fact that he was heartbroken because he was engaged.
Yeah, and he shared that.
He was engaged, and she cheated on him not once but twice.
At least
twice that he know of. And he was like, yo, we talked about it the second time, we're going to let it go. So he's like, I dated just trying to find something. So he was almost at the altar. And, you know, and one thing he liked about Olivia was that she said she never cheated. So now to him, his trust is like, okay, wow, okay, it's building up because I got somebody who don't believe in cheating.
Yeah, she was like, that's just rude, that's disgusting, like that's the worst thing.
So that was good for them to have that conversation and that dialogue. Then we go to the people who I thought it was editing, but I realized that this is not editing. Christina and Henry, it was more talking on this episode, but she was initiating the conversation.
When she keeps saying she's not used to being the aggressor.
Which is not being aggressor. So she's being the aggressor here and keep initiating. And Henry does not respond very well. He doesn't talk. It's like his dad said it. We thought everybody was laughing and joking at his dad last week when he said, like, Henry doesn't talk. Legitimately, Henry doesn't talk.
Well, he's a different kind of person.
He's a different
basically, his dad said too.
Like, he's a different type of person. So, and we find out in this episode, and we'll stay with him right now for a minute, that Henry has not experienced life at all. That Christina is introducing Henry to a lot of things. We thought it was just him going out of the country. Well, Henry doesn't know how to swim.
He doesn't think.
He doesn't think he knows how to swim.
He's not sure if he knows how to swim.
Or float.
But he can't float, but he's not sure if he can swim, which, anyway.
It's weird. And, you know, and so even before they can get to their little date, when they were with the rest of the couples, you can see how awkward it was for her and him because she didn't want to compare.
Right, but they're looking at Woody and Amani and their chemistry. And
they're looking at Karen and Miles and their chemistry. Brett and Olivia. They're looking at Amelia and Bennett. And it's like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Like, why do they do that to me?
Which is not good for Christina.
Which is not good for Christina. Why do they do this to me? You know? And he's sitting there like, you know, she's like, did y'all get intimate? Like, you know, she was tired. I was tired. And he's like, well, I always take it slow. And Woody's sitting there when they cut to Woody and Amani, like, yeah, whatever. Like,
they were like, I just don't know what's going on with them. I can't fill them out. What in the world is
I don't think they kissed.
going on over there? Yeah, it was like, I don't see them being very affectionate, which they haven't.
They kissed her on the date. I mean, when they first got married, and then they kissed. Didn't they kiss when he had tequila? I don't think so. Nah. But he kind of coming out of his shell a little bit. They went kayaking. They did the little mud thing. She wanted him to take the lead in the back of the kayak, and he was kind of complaining about, oh, this is a lot of work. This is what I got to do.
But he also said, I told her to relax, and he was like, don't do anything. Yeah. Just relax, and I'll paddle the kayak. He did say that. He said he wanted her to just enjoy herself and relax. And with the mud thing, you know, she was like, I'm trying to get him out of his shell. We're going to this sludgery. And I mean, she was in it. She laid all the way back in that soupy mud.
I'm not mad at it.
Soupy mud.
I want to do that.
Right. It was a little bit too wet for me, but he was like head above water. That joker was stiff, like, I'm not. She was like, why you didn't get your head in it? Why? He was like, no, it's just not for me. Walking through this city to get there, slanted. Oh, I feel sick. I don't know if I want to make it. Several times he was like, is there a hospital, you know, when they went kayaking and when they were jumping on the little trampoline thing in the house.
Oh, this is the most fun thing I've
like,
done.
Oh, I'm not going to fit. He said, this the craziest thing I've ever done. That and the sludgery and, oh, I'm going to feel my hamstrings in the morning. I don't know about this. Is there a hospital on the resort?
It's like she, and I know she doesn't want to be in lead, but she has a husband who has not done anything. And that's maybe because of when he was younger, because of his size, because of being awkward. He has some issues dealing with that. He probably was, and I don't know, his two background might have been the kid that was picked on, didn't have any friends. And so he's always in the shell. So she really has to pull him out of a shell, which is it's kind of a, I don't want to say a bad thing, but it's going to be work. And she has to realize that, because what she's doing, what would happen in a date when they were dating, she's going to have to do it now in a marriage. Because in a date, you would do these different things. You will learn to go these different places. You will have this interaction. You will have this fun, and he would become more comfortable with you. And now you're doing it in an 8-week experiment this is your husband. And so it kind of things are rapid, and I don't know if he can make it 8 weeks. We'll try to pull him out of this shell that he's been in for years. Yeah. Which made me think, how does he have all these female friends and doesn't feel comfortable around his wife, but feel comfortable around the friends?
Listen to what you said. He's got all these female friends. Like, go to the beginning. When they were talking to his female friends, it was like, you know, Henry's nice and all. He's my friend. Yeah. Because everybody probably felt like it's so much effort. And then also, you don't know how much effort people putting in and how much he's not. Like, I don't want to be pulled out of my shell. So maybe that's what he meant when he said, this is the craziest thing I've ever done. It's like, I never do anything adventurous. So again, the fact that he's on Married at First Sight is like,
and what he said, Married at First Sight, because he told his brother, and the brother like, well, just do it. You don't do anything anyway. Right. This is just this is like an adventure to him. You know, the adventures of Pee Wee Herman. I mean, the adventures of Henry. But this is the adventure. But you know, Greg was like that. From Greg and Deanna, Greg didn't want to try anything different and new, but he did. But he wasn't to that extreme. It wasn't to that extreme with as Henry. Henry's to the different extreme. Like, it's like he's trying it, but it's like, wow, I'm experiencing things that I never experienced. So you have somebody who's not experienced with somebody who has been experienced, has been around the world. Maybe because of her being a flight attendant stuff, and being around the world and having time to explore and see different things and maybe that's why they matched, because he was reserved and she was outgoing, and maybe she can pull him out of this that he's in. Well, I don't know, reserved and outgoing. I don't even know about that. She's she's cultured and experienced, and he's inexperienced. I'm gonna say it like that. He's very inexperienced. Very inexperienced at life. Period. Let's take bets. Will they kiss on the honeymoon? We talked about that. Like, I'm so. I don't think they'll kiss until afraid. They get back to the state. I don't even think. I told you earlier. I don't even think they're gonna be kissing like that. I don't see the atmosphere for affection between them. I don't see the atmosphere for affection. Don't either. Because I mean, it would have been an awesome time. You know, we got out the sludgery. Like, if he was really all the way in, and be like, oh man, you know, thanks for bringing me out. Oh wow, that was fun. Even on the kayak, which he couldn't get out of the kayak, which that was hilarious. Like, she wasn't trying to help him. He was looking all silly. Like he was about to fall and break his neck, dog. Oh man, but Christina and Henry need some help. Just those who know the words of prayer. Stop. I'm just joking. Pray for them. But man, but let's get really dig into Olivia and Brett. I want to go back to them and dig into them real quick. Just the issue of the relationship stuff that you see with him, and how I don't want to call it the meticulousness of things that he likes to do or what he doesn't like to do. Even when she brought the peeing in the shower, he's like, oh no. No, we don't do that. Now, I don't pee in the shower. I don't pee in the pool. I don't pee...
Well, I hope not.
What kind of animal? He's like, you're an animal?
What kind of animal did they match me up with? But I don't think that's bad because it's a lot of people that don't pee in the shower. A lot of people don't pee in the shower. But, you know, like Olivia said, she was like, hey, sometimes a girl got to pee in the shower. Once you get in there, like, it's too much trouble to have to get out and you get your freaking floor wet. You get the toilet all wet just so you can pee. You know, so basically she like saying, I'm not confessing nothing. I'm saying I understand why you would pee in the shower. Why you pee in the shower? Oh, also, would you... I don't mind peeing in front of you, like on the toilet, you know, whatever. I think you should poop in private. And, you know, he was like, oh, no, you know, I don't think so. I'm like, me and I think Olivia are probably on the same page. I've probably seen it more than her. Like, when you in healthcare and you deal with patients that I've had older patients, I've had younger patients. But, you know, sometimes things come out, you know, patients pass gas in your face. Older patients pee or poop while you're trying to change their bed. So, I'm like, nah, you know. I think she's like me. It's like, you know, it's no big deal.
No big deal. Let's go back to Karen and Miles. Okay. And because I want to deal with this stranger situation. Because she calls him... My stranger. She's upgrading to my stranger. I'm sitting here like, he's your stranger. Like, dog, he's your husband. I'm like Woody. When Woody was saying like, no, he's not your stranger. He's your husband. And I agree... I know she's taking small steps, and I'm not saying she's Jeopardy. We talked about that. She's moving in a level, and she has trust issues because she's had the conversation with. Rightfully so. They had a conversation at dinner, and she's had the trust issue with that she was within in this long relationship with this guy, and
he had a baby on her.
He had a baby on
with
her
somebody else.
And then we found out that she's only been since 18. She's only been in 2 relationships. So
she's 30.
And she's 30. So she has been in long relationships with people who did not want to commit. And I guess both relationships ended where she was hurt. So I can see why she's moving slow with Miles because she doesn't want him to hurt her as well. Already in her back of her mind, knowing this is 8 weeks, and we got to make a decision after 8 weeks. What if he says no? So I may not want to put all my eggs in this basket, and he says no. I think she has to relax a little bit, and we can see her relaxing more, but I think I just need her to speed it up just a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit more. And Miles, they matched him because Miles is patient. Miles like, I'm going to work with her. I'm going to move at her level because I want to do this once.
And he was fine with he said, I felt like that was a upgrade to me. She claimed me, my stranger. Yeah. So he's like, you know, he was okay with that, my stranger. And they just put it in the context like, you know how you see somebody, so a stranger is somebody like you never see. Yeah. And you meet them and you never see them again. So my stranger is like somebody that lives in your neighborhood. So they're a stranger, like you're not familiar with them, but you see them frequent enough that you're more familiar. And like Miles said, it was like, you know, I'd be like, I don't know Miss Sally that well. I know her well enough. Nobody mess with Miss Sally. Don't nobody mess with Miss Sally. So they're at that point where they're my stranger. And he even got upgraded a little bit to my acquaintance.
Yeah, because it was chilling in the hammock. she was around that nice young black man, and she was, you know, laying up on him in the hammock. But nah, he was but I also like the discussion they had at the dinner. And one thing I can say about Karen and Amani when we get there, they're very forthright and they know who they are, and they use communication. And I like the fact they talk. She's like, yo, you've been in 10 relationships? Like, you've been in these 10 relationships. Am I going to be, you know, basically number 11? You know, what makes you, why 10? I've only been in 2. You know, so that was one of the things that she had issue with too, because that goes her trust. Like, why you been in so many? Are you going to leave me and go to the next one if this doesn't work out? And Miles explained to her, I've been in these relationships because I was always looking for a wife. And I realized that these people are not wife material, so I'm going to have to leave.
Which is why I said I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Miles if he's been in 10 relationships up until his age 26. Because that says to me that I'm not investing a whole lot of my time in something that I feel is not worth it. And I saw the flip side for Karen. So you've only had 2 relationships from the age of 18 to 30. So that tells me that you put a lot of time into something that didn't work out. Right. Almost like you wasted your time. You know, you should, after, and we've talked about this before, I don't know, on other Married at First Sight, and just conversation we had before. After so much time with somebody, you know if you want to be with them or not. Yeah. It don't take 5 and 6 and 7 yet. That's how I feel. Now, for some of y'all out there, maybe you do feel that way. I feel like 5, 6, 7 years, you ought to know if you want to be with me.
10 years, he done waste your time.
That's what I'm saying. You ought to know if you want to be with me for real after a year or 2.
Yeah.
You ought to know. Does this person have potential? You may or may not have come across some situations like life events that you might need to see how this person reacts, whether it's job loss, death of a family member, you know, something like that. But I feel like for Karen, I'm like, girl, 2 relationships, that means to me that says you spent too much time in something that wasn't worth it.
Well, she thought it was worth it if she spent that time in it. She thought it would work out until he had a baby. I don't know what the other one, but the guy didn't want to commit. That shows you that.
But that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't worth it. Go ahead.
To her, it might have been worth it. To him, it may not have been. There's people who have relationships, you know what, I think I'm going to hold on to this, and it doesn't work out. Because even when we go to Amani thought her relationship was going to work out until she realized the dude was married.
It was going to work out.
Yeah.
It didn't because he's married.
Yeah, it was going to work out. It didn't because he was married. But again, she was holding on to the relationship until she realized, oh, dang, this dude is married. Mm-hmm. So it becomes those situations where one may be invested in it and the other one may be, you know, dipping and dabbing on the other end. And, you know, even when we get to her, she was real open with open with Woody about their relationship, what she expects, what she wants, and which I like. That's what I enjoy. And men should enjoy a woman who's forthright, who shows the communication. This is what I want. I want you to treat me like this, and this is how I expect to be treated. This is how I want to. This is what's going on in my past relationships. This is what happened to me. Please don't do this to me.
And like I told you, not just forthright in what I want, but I feel like Amani knows herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's not in denial about the fact that I have trust issues. I was hurt by this, and same thing with Karen. I was hurt by this because I think so many times people go into relationships not realizing that what happened over here is definitely having an effect over here. Amani said that to Woody. I don't want to put you in a box and make you pay for somebody else's wrongs. And that's what people do a lot of times. You make this new person pay for the other person's wrong. You already got them pegged because so-and-so screwed me over. I'm looking for somebody else to screw me over. And you don't give people a chance. You
don't come into the relationship with a clean slate. And I think Amani is really coming to the relationship with her and Woody with a clean slate. Woody also told her, look, I've done some things in my past. We all know Woody had cheated. He admitted that in the last episode. But he said some things in my past that I've grown from. And that's why I can come into this knowing I don't want to do what I've done in the past because I know it's hurt people. And we can see in their chemistry that they're affectionate with one another. They had fun, as I would try to get to earlier, with swimming with Amelia and Bennett, hanging out, and he loses his ring, and she doesn't get mad. So he like, man, I expect her to flip. You know, and she didn't flip. Some men were like, dang, I'm a ring, and that honeymoon would have been over.
Yeah. I mean, seeing her personality.
I eat Iris when Keith lost his on the beach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seen her personality, I kind of figured she would let it go, because I mean, it's understandable. Okay, the ring probably doesn't exactly fit that well. She said you hit that water hard. You know, I expected it to come off, so it's okay. We're still married. It's no big deal. I mean, because you can get another ring when you get back, and we're not that far into this either. You know, for me to be losing it over you losing your ring.
We're in paradise. We're having a good time. I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. And as she said, I want to touch you and I want you to touch me.
Because they took a shower together, not once but twice.
Well, twice.
You know, they feeling each other out. Each of them wants to have sex with each other, but they also, which Amani said, she doesn't want to complicate it, and make it more than too fast. They both feeling each other. They both want to have sex with each other. But like Woody said, by now I probably would have.
But she said she inexperienced.
Oh yeah, I like.
She said she
back to Iris. Let's compare to Iris and Keith again. Yes, she said I don't have as much experience probably as other people, or maybe you. He was like, well, I am pretty experienced. I don't mean it like that. But.
Yeah. I can't teach, woodology.
Because she said, how are you as far as educating and bringing me up to speed? Mm-hmm. Which I compared to Iris and Keith. Keith was not in the teaching mode. He was like, I'm used to somebody coming at me. They know what they doing.
Right.
I'm not trying to teach nobody nothing. And Woody's like,
I teach you.
I can teach you.
He said, I give you that bow.
I could teach you something. I could teach you some
things. But at least she admitted it. He was willing to teach, or is willing to teach. And when they do, they have a relation. That's one thing about marriage. Because you don't come into knowing everything. You don't come in knowing what your spouse like.
Right.
And we talked about the clean slate. I can't come into the marriage because this made Sally go woo 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 and curl her toes and expect they're gonna curl your toes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, I'm just saying, because you come in there and you have to learn the other person. And that's one of the things that I like, the fact that they are doing it nice and slow, taking showers and recognizing each other and spending the time and getting comfortable with seeing each other's body before they go into the next step.
Yeah, and I just want to throw this right there too, because you talk about each other's bodies. Let's go back to when Amani and Woody and Amelia and Bennett.
Oh yeah.
When they were when he lost the ring, that's when they were at the pool. They were having a good time. They felt like they had the same type of vibe, like they was getting along with each other, spouses the same kind of way. So they thought it would be nice for them to hang out. And so they go playing in the water. And Woody's like, Bennett all out here in his drawers. In his drawers. Underwear. He all out here in his drawers around my wife. He just jumping in the water in his drawers. And Woody was like, but you know what? I might have been offended with somebody else, but it's Bennett. He's a free spirit. It's just like, it ain't no big deal. He ain't thinking twice about those. It's his swimming trunks.
But then we see it later. He does have swimming trunks on because I guess Amelia bought him some trunks or somebody mentioned something to him. But he does have trunks on. But they're free spirit. You can see how the couples are interacting with one another. And I think that's a good thing there.
Even when Miles and Karen and Amani and Woody went on their excursion.
Yeah, they just speedboat.
Yeah, they went on that. They went jet boating. And speaking of going from my stranger, the other pet name is Miles keeps talking about the cougar.
Yes.
He keeps calling Karen a cougar. She was like, I don't like you calling me a cougar. And Woody's like, bruh, that's your wife. Don't call her no cougar. He's like, no, I think it's funny. It's cute or whatever. And Woody's like, no, a cougar's like, she taking advantage of you. She don't want to be called no cougar. He was like, how about my sugar mama? She's like, to me, I'm 30. Maybe it's funny to his 26. You know what? She's making a big deal of these 4 years. It's irritating me. But anyway, she's like, maybe it's funny to his 26-year-old self. It's not funny to me. But she's also, to me, not giving. It's not funny to her, so she's saying it a little bit, but I feel like she's not like, but it's not funny. Yeah. I think if she says something, it's not funny. But she's kind of like, it's not funny.
So he keeps
doing it.
I think he got it now because of Monty. Like, I'm gonna bop you in the back of your head. So you can see that because of Woody and Miles' relationship, you can see Amani and Karen's relationship starting to grow. She she got a girlfriend to have a conversation with, and they tight and they friends. So you can see that. They all did their excursion, but let's go with Amelia and Bennett when they go on their excursion and their quiet time, because she tells Bennett that, look, I may have to move a couple times.
Right.
And this is something that we brought up last week. Bennett is a New Orleans dude. This is what this is what he does. He talks to his family.
Yeah, he said he hasn't moved around.
He hasn't moved around. And dealing with having to move around, and that scares him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's uncomfortable with that. I know some of you watchers may have spouses in the military and stuff like that, and being a military brat or being a military kid, I understand about moving. I was used to moving every 3 or 4 years. So that's something that I've got accustomed to. But when you have never moved and you lived in the same area, same house, and the same family, I wouldn't throw same people and never move. You don't like to move a lot, and
my mom still lives in the same house.
I know, and that's one of the things that we had to deal with. She didn't like to move a lot. I was like, okay, cool, let me do this. Let's move here. Let's move. Like, nah, dog, we're not moving no more.
Well, no, that wasn't the problem with us. It was the getting used to like the way times are now. Like we were talking about the other day, in our little neighborhood, we started with like 6 of us, and it's like only 3 originals left.
Right.
Like, we live in a place where it's a lot of military, so people move in frequently, and I'm not used to that. Like, it was some people I went to school with from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, not some, a whole lot of people that I knew from elementary all the way to high school. So Bennett asked her, though, okay, so you might have to move for your residency. You might have to move for your job. But he asked her, but after that, can you settle? Can you be settled? Can you stay in one place? And she never answered. She never answered him. She was like...
Maybe she don't know. I mean, you're in the medical field and you work around doctors and stuff. Do most doctors stay in that place forever?
Some of them do.
So...
I mean, you do see some that move, but a lot of doctors, once they get in one place, they do years there.
And so that's something, you know, that they can talk about, and even with family-wise, that's something they can deal with too, because even if he wants to adopt kids or they want to raise kids, there's some stability that's there. Yeah. And I can understand Bennett's point, but I can also understand Amelia. Look, I need to finish my career, and New Orleans may not be the place where I get my residency. It may not be the best place for me to study the type of field of medicine that I want to go into.
Whichever that is,
it may be Virginia. It may be It may be New Orleans. It may be another state, you know. So this is where I need to go. And remember, she's not from New Orleans. She's from Virginia, you know. So she may want to go back home. She might be homesick. Right. And so that was one of the things, their biggest thing that they have issue with right now, which I don't, it is an issue, but I don't think it's that much an issue being as a free spirit. I'll see him going along the flow. And plus, he doesn't have, I don't want to call it a stable job. But he has a job that can move around. Right. And that was one of the things that she talked about. They talked about, like, why did your relationships, like, not work out? And that was her thing. She was like, I think it wasn't a bad breakup. It was, like, because of my independence, because I was so used to doing my own. It was just like, well, we just broke up. And for him, it was because I was so focused on the other person. Mm-hmm. I wasn't focused on me. So I think that's going to come back up, obviously. You can't help come back up the fact of her independence and her moving around. But you can see that he does still focus on the other person a lot. And then he needs to focus on him a little bit more. But then she also is independent. She wants to move when she want to move. I mean, being in the medical field, I guess you have to be able to move and think quick and move at that pace. Being an actor and a thespian, and he says growing up in the theater all his life because that's what his mom did. Mm-hmm. You know, so he has always been a free-spirited type person. Right. Where, you know, we just go with the flow and whatever happens, I'm going to be taken care of. So I think her independence and structure and his free spirit matches well together, and they complement each other. They know how to, first of all, they know how to talk to each other. I think that's been a big issue. They know how to have conversation and communication with one another. Yeah. And I think that's great too. One thing we missed about Olivia and Brett as we wrap this thing up was they talked about kids. Yes. And she talked about, you know, wanted to be able to again live life before having kids, and he's like, he want to have kids like now. Right. And that one was one of the big issues. I think when going... But she said she's not opposed to it. She's not opposed to it. But again, watching the show in real life, these are conversations you have when you date. Mm-hmm. And so you already can pick and know if that's something that you want to do before you say, you know, will you marry me? We've seen it work out for Bobby and Danielle because Danielle didn't want any kids. Now they're on their second one. You know, so I guess after marriage and the conversation, you realize that it gets better. Mm-hmm. And then only one other thing I want to add is that when all the couples were talking, like, how's your relationship going? What's up with what, whatever. And, you know, they talked to Christina and Henry. And he was like, you know, I'm taking it slow. We're trying to get to know each other. And Henry shared that I've never approached a woman. Oh. He said, I've never approached a woman at the bar. I've never. But it makes you go, how many relationships have you actually been in? It goes back to him. I wonder. It goes back to him being the chubby kid. And I say that because I was the chubby kid growing up. Everybody was in the friend zone. Sometimes you have a confidence issue. Not that I ever had an issue with approaching women because I approached you. Anyway. You know what? I'm going to say something before we finish. But you know, and so I can see where he has the issue because he still has the confident issue of being a heavy set kid, and so he's always kind of feel like he's kind of awkward. He feel weird. So people come to him because of his personality. So I can understand that. But he has to realize, look, dog, I'm in a marriage, and I hopeful. I just hope that when they get back to off the honeymoon, that the experts are more involved this season than they were last season. Mm-hmm. They can help him with some of this stuff because he does need some expert help.
Oh my gosh,
to get over himself and to bring out some of the things in him that he is not unsure of. So I hope the experts can help him in the relationship. But I mean, I was like, dang, you ain't never talked to him at a bar, but now you married. I mean,
not even at a bar. I feel like he didn't. He's never approached a woman. Period. They probably like, hey, you're cute, and he was like, oh hi. But I was gonna say too. You know, you talked about being a chubby kid. I think it's just he was awkward. Period.
Yeah.
It might have been him being a chubby kid and just having a different kind of personality, being more quiet, particular, and I don't know, but
We'll see.
Did we have them at the bottom of our account before?
They're still at the bottom of my account.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I'm going to put them at the bottom.
If I had to do a top 5 today, my top 5 is still Woody and Amani.
Yes.
Then it goes to Amelia and Bennett.
Yes.
Still goes Miles and Karen.
Yeah.
Brett and Olivia, close with Amelia. Is moving up there a lot. And then you got Henry and Christina.
Yeah.
Still at the bottom.
Yeah. It's not good.
That's my top 5 right now. But let us know what your top 5 is. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you check out our couples cam. Make sure if you like reading books, check out our audio books in the description below. Man, we enjoyed Married at First Sight. We thank you for watching us. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notification. If we missed anything, please leave it in the comment section. If you have any comments, let us know what you think. We will respond back to you. And thank you for all that you guys do for watching us each and every week.
Yes. And my question for you is, has Woody's heavy flirting make you heavy flirt more with your partner?
I flirt all the time.
You can answer that question. I think Woody's influencing people because he is fresh.
I have flirted more than Woody has, just not on camera.
No.
Anyway,
thanks for joining us. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.